With this team this year, it seems as if more people are picking up the scoring load. They had to figure out how to play without Victor Oladipo. Now they're 22-12 in third place in the East, and they seem to be rolling in the right direction.
Well, I mean, and everybody gets these mini rolls, it seems like, early on, where they start playing really well and get in a groove. But the Pacers have kind of been steady. Outside of the spotlight in the East, we talk about, Toronto, Milwaukee, Boston, Philly. To me, the Pacers are that fifth team that we haven't talked a lot about. They could crash the Eastern Conference playoffs now. They could be that one team that prevents one of these others from advancing and getting to where they want to be. I love the fact that Nate McMillan has found a real comfort zone with his roster. He's got everybody kind of buying in to whatever their role is on that team. And if you're going to start somewhere and talking about becoming a contender, a real contender, it has to be something that you've done over the course of time. It can't be an overnight thing in the East because LeBron's gone. The guy who could come in and be that change agent for you, he's in the West now. So now that Indiana team we saw last year has taken some gradual steps, and maybe they're ready for prime time. Maybe this is their year to be the team that, stirs something up in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, they've been impressive, and you hear a lot about Oladipo and then, their twin towers with Turner and obviously Sabonis, who are still improving. They're still their best basketball is ahead of them. But the guy to me that's kind of made it all work has been Bojan Bogdanovic with how well he's shot it, how well he's fit in with this group and balanced that lineup. He's shooting 48 from three. Over 50 from the field. He's been automatic all season long for them. And they've got great balance, and they're one of those teams. They're a very good offensive team and defensive team. They're a team that they know they can win with defense when shots aren't falling on a consistent basis. And they're still, in essence, a very young basketball team. Thaddeus Young has been solid as well. So they're just a good team. They have a lot of confidence. That 7-game loss last year to Cleveland, I think, kind of propelled them and made them believe that they can compete with anybody in that Eastern Conference. To Seku's point, once LeBron left, they're looking around saying, well, we're just as good as these guys. We can beat them, and they're proving it on a nightly basis.
Well, almost to that point, you spend years trying to find guys who can defend LeBron or guys who can play well inside, and Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis, Thaddeus Young, and as you mentioned, the shooting of Bojan Bogdanovic. Then you look at the front court, you think, is that a big strength of this team as compared to the idea that Victor Oladipo is the engine that makes it go, but the depth that they have up front, I mean, that has to be viewed as a huge strength for them.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's why they're a good defensive team. They get shot blocking. They can control their defensive backboard. The thing about a guy like Oladipo is he's dynamic enough to score against great defense, but it's the balance of those bigs. It's the fact that they can also stretch it on the perimeter. And what you made the point, Sekou, what Nate's done a great job of is getting those guys to buy in. It's the hardest thing to do with young players, man, is to get them to buy into playing winning basketball because it's not always sexy. It doesn't always allow you to get the stats, but it does allow you to have success in terms of wins and losses. And he's got a young group that gets it. And I think it starts with Oladipo. I think he's an unselfish enough player, an emerging young star, that he's not ball dominant. He plays. If you're open, you're going to get it. And I think that helps the growth of those other guys. And, man, they are a terrific team. I mean, I'm going to really keep an eye on the Pacers because I think, to his point, what Sekou said, I think they can upset the apple cart.
Just 12 points and 13 shots from Oladipo.
Yeah, and I think the other guy that we probably don't talk about enough when we talk about the Pacers and just why that chemistry works is Thaddeus Young. Sometimes you need that unsung veteran guy to kind of come in and pull things together. He's been outstanding on defense. He had a game earlier this season. I think it was maybe in back-to-back nights where he had to deal with Joel Embiid and then Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not a lot of guys are going to want to take on that responsibility and relish the opportunity to be overmatched physically by a couple of MVP candidates, quite frankly. But Thaddeus Young goes out there without a care, without a concern about what it's going to look like when those guys go out and get their points and rebounds and assists or whatever, because he's doing his job, just plodding along, doing it the way Nate McMillan asked him to, and doing it for the good of the team. You got to have guys like that on your roster and in your mix if you're talking about being a serious contender in this league at all. You got to have veteran guys who can come in and fill those kinds of roles.
Indiana was one of the surprising teams in the league last year to see their ascension. This year, is that